Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to prop it up? Meet the PopSockets phone grip with expanding kickstand in black, your new must-have accessory. Don't miss out. Grab yours today. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Putin will not stop fighting in Ukraine until domestic pressures force him to next year. Analysis: Vladimir Putin has no incentive to agree to a full 30-day truce with Ukraine now and little reason to contemplate a permanent end of hostilities before next year, experts said last night. Russian troops have momentum in Ukraine, and though they are not surrounding Ukrainian troops in Kursk, have made sturdy advance there. The only benefactor, Putin knows, would be his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky. What his 90 phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump showed is that he is happy to work on negotiating a full peace while still waging his bloody war on Ukraine. Partly this is due to Putin's own indecisiveness. Having failed to achieve his initial objectives in Ukraine, he has spent the last 2 years buying time while he awaited the hoped-for advent of a more understanding Trump administration. Russia may be losing this war, but Putin believes Ukraine is losing it faster, said Russia expert Prof. Mark Ghilotti. Now that Trump is in office, he is assessing how much he can take back to increasingly fed-up Russians in the form of a win for his so-called special military operation. Ironically, this means denying the U.S. president the quick solution he was seeking. The semi-truce Putin has accepted, which is supposed to see the end of attacks on infrastructure and energy supplies, will also benefit him. This is one area where Ukraine's long-range drones and missiles have hit home with repeated midwinter strikes on Russian gas and pipeline installations. But time is no longer on Putin's side. While Trump is bedazzled by the prospects of re-establishing economic ties with Russia, there are many in Putin's inner circle who fear the former KGB colonel will push the Oval Office too far. And next year is when the Russian dictator will have to make some very tough decisions between guns and butter, said Prof. Ghilotti. To begin with, warehouses containing stocks of Soviet-era tanks will finally empty. Russia can only manufacture 500 tanks a year and has lost 1,500 since 2022. In the meantime, Russia's wartime economy is overheating, with the ruble in free fall and food inflation is so high that butter is now as valuable as gold. More importantly, more than 70% of Russians would now accept a permanent peace treaty as long as it was signed by Putin. The Kremlin is still the #1 consumer of polling data, not because they necessarily do what the masses want, but because it knows authoritarian leaders don't risk losing elections, they risk hanging from a lamppost in Red Square, said Prof. Ghilotti. Nevertheless, it leaves Ukraine with the real prospect, as former Deputy Supreme Allied Commander Europe General Sir James Everard said recently, of another year of trading time, space, blood, and treasure.